Gender-based violence or violence against women is common, yet women and young girls who are victims do not realize that they are. Some women are still afraid to speak up against violence, and against such they can seek help if they try to denounce violence against women in one way or the other. As we said, today we focus on violence against women. We're telling women today that they need to speak out in order to end the ill. The program is Turn Up, still does. Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting edition of your program Turn Up on Canal Do English, a program that seeks to empower women and the girl child. And today we're talking about violence against women, and recent statistics from the United Nations states that 1 out of every 3 women in Cameroon suffers violence. The reason for its prevalence in the country is mostly associated with a fear of stigma and continuous violence, which have silenced millions of young girls in Cameroon and around the world. And we have invited fine brains as usual. We'll be right back after the jingle. The program is Turn Up, and it's time for us to know our guests. We have our usual face, is somebody you know so well. They have been here before and they're still here today. We have Dr. Fawn Elizabeth. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Maureen. I'm glad to be here.
All right, just to make our audience know that you are the CEO of Tesho Family Center.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm a family counselor.
Okay.
I guide families in developing those skills where they can reduce violence in their relationship. And we talk violence is from men to women and women to men, children to parents, parents to children, in-laws to the daughter-in-law, to the son-in-law. I mean, it's a mixture.
Okay.
Yes.
And this center is situated in Accra.
Yes, in Accra,
Douala,
yeah.
Cameroon. Because
Cameroon,
people watching
yes.
us from other parts of the country.
That's
We equally
true.
have a JC Afotso. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Maureen.
Nice having you today.
It's a long time.
It has been a long time.
Yes.
Now, how was your day? Was it quite challenging? Like asking that
No,
question?
it was cool.
All right.
Yes.
Now, we're talking about violence against women. I don't want us to go to the definition of violence or violence against women. We've had that a couple of times. But the first question I want to ask is, we keep on talking about violence against women. Why is it not ending?
The truth, Maureen, is that we are looking at the signs and the symptoms. Now I'm talking like a doctor.
Okay.
We are looking at the signs and symptoms of violence against women, but nobody has really gone to look at the root causes, the etiology. What is causing this violence against women? Until we know about the etiology, then we can start attacking the etiology, the root cause, then we can solve the problem. First of all, Maureen, I'm going to shock you, but we can only end violence against women if we get to the men, we convince them to end violence against women. Talking to the women all the time to denounce the men and so on will not really solve the problem. Yeah.
So the problem is?
The problem is that men need to get involved. Violence against women is perpetrated mostly by the men, even though there are women too who are violent against other women. But it's perpetrated by the men. If you don't get the men involved, you never solve the problem.
Does it mean that the root cause of violence against women, we've not had the root cause of these? We are just like solving the problem at the superficial stage without getting to the root.
It. The International Day of Violence Against Women, we talk a lot about it. We describe the symptoms. We talk about the beatings. We talk about the mental torture. We talk about the physical torture. We tell women to speak out. We tell them to denounce their husbands. But really, Maureen, has anybody ever gone towards the men to say, but tell me, sir, why are you violent towards your wife? Hardly. Hardly. But I think that's where we should start from. Yes.
All right. 15 days to advocate against violence against women is over in Cameroon. This 10th of December, it ended. Now, but we still have more of such issues coming up. We have violence, women still cry against that their husbands batter them, you have psychological violence. Now, I want to ask you, Jason, why is it not ending? Why is it still a problem in Cameroon today? Why do we still have much talk about violence here and there?
Maureen, I will tell you the truth about violence issue. Violence can take us back to our cultural background, where we are coming from.
Okay.
You know, the woman folk just try to emancipate. Gone were the days that women were not going to school. Because you go into a household, the man would tell the wife that I will send the boys to school and the girls will go to marriage. And the girl child is not educated.
Okay.
Now, look at the identity of the girl child and the male child. The male child now sees himself as someone who has seen light.
Yeah.
Why the woman is like still in darkness. And there, right in that household, that boy child starts looking down on the girl because they are not.
And he grows up with that
and
attitude.
they grow up with that attitude. And then now they say the society is the family is the miniature of the society. The boy child now will leave that home, get a girl child elsewhere, and marry tomorrow. And the way he was looking at the sister, that's exactly the way we look at the wife. And who are you, the wife, who want to contribute to something when you don't have a voice?
And the parents at that time, they don't see anything wrong with that.
They did not.
Don't try to correct.
Yes, it
anything.
wasn't like parents. I can tell you back in my own village, the woman will not even raise her voice to her husband. She will talk with a softer tone, not because she loves that husband that she's making softer tone, but she's saying because that's how the culture has tuned them to speak. So decision making, she's not part of decision making. Now she wants to come out today and start taking decisions with the husband. Who are you there? Now, this cultural aspect, education has come a long way to break those barriers. Because you see now, the girl child, you can find that in the United Nations programs for education, UNESCO, they're encouraging more female children going to school. And you are seeing many adverts of the female child being in post of responsibility.
Now, is it about the girl child not being educated? Is that why she's being battered?
Education was part of it. And with education, it breaks so many boundaries. And you see, the girl child goes to school today.
I want us to look at the root cause of all this and why it is not ending. Maybe we'll have a girl child who goes to school. Is it right because she knows her rights? The man talks, she talks back, and the man
just not even rights again, because because when you have gone to school, you definitely know your rights.
You have those women
but
that they don't talk much at home, but the man is like hitting on her every now and then.
Those are chauvinists.
Okay.
Because the girl child that's gone to school has become emancipated.
Okay.
She knows how to go around more than when she wasn't going to school. And then the man now finds himself I think it's a bipolar issue now. Some of the charges he's losing them, and he wants to hold onto it. And now holding onto it, what mechanisms are going to put into place such that he doesn't lose those charges is to make the woman get afraid, so that he can stay on top. Meanwhile, us women, we are not having that idea in us. Us is like we are accomplishing our family rights, taking participating with our husband, but they are looking at us as you have come to rub shoulders with me. You understand? And self-esteem in the male folk starts going down. How does he fight this self-esteem? He starts showing outward manifestations by punching on the woman. And because he knows when he punches on you, it's hurtful. You start withdrawing. And once as you accept that first punch and you don't stand up against it, the punches will multiply. And that's how the name violence will keep on going.
Okay. Now, when we look at society today, Doc, is it increasing or with the much campaign we've been having for the past years and again this year? Is it going up or is it
I think I would say the phenomenon.
Has it slowed down a bit?
No, I don't think so. The thing is that if there's anything, it's more. Because we have more stress in our society.
Okay.
Maureen, you agree that the society today is more stressful.
Okay.
There's a lot of stress on the men, on the women, and that is why their relationship, if they don't have the skills, is going to be violent.
Okay.
She said something which is very important. A man, we've spent our time educating the girl child, but we've not educated the boy child to embrace the emancipated, educated, professional career woman.
Okay.
You understand? That when people come to the family center, some of the men are like, my wife does not respect me. Like, my mother used to respect my father, you know. The father was married to a village woman who respected him, but he's married to a career woman, a sophisticated woman, and he wants her to continue to behave like the mother used to behave. Meaning that he's not been educated.
And is it possible for a woman to behave that way if she's emancipated?
No, she has needs.
Okay.
I mean, I've gone to school for heaven's sake. I have needs. I need for my husband to look at me as someone who has a brain.
Okay.
You understand? And if he's looking at me like a village woman who should just bow down and say, yes, massa, yes, sir, it cannot work now, Maureen. Our relationship is going to be violent, whether I like it or not. So that man needs to be educated.
Okay.
And we don't do that.
Okay.
We have conferences for women. We talk to women. We send our girls to school. But we don't educate the boys to build relationships with this new African girl child.
All right, it doesn't mean that the message that the government, associations, NGOs are trying to pass across, the target group is not, they're not touching the rights from the roots. They're not the right people.
They are not getting to the right group.
Mm-hmm.
We should talk to the fathers. We should talk to the boys. We should talk to the mothers to educate their boys.
Because you cannot talk to women without talking to men.
That's it.
You cannot talk to the children without talking to the parents. It's like the campaign
is for women.
It's for women only.
Denounce the men.
So
speak up. Speak up. In Cameroon, Maureen, if you speak up, they come and catch your husband and put him in prison. What do you do with your children? If he comes out of prison and he drives you out of the house, or the brothers even come and drive you out of the house, what do you do?
So are you not telling women that they should just stay with the problems and they don't speak out?
I'm speaking to the men.
Okay.
I'm speaking to the men. Because I want men to understand that if you are violent towards your wife, you are killing yourself too.
Okay.
Because when she's secreting adrenaline, you are also secreting adrenaline. You might be the stronger man, you can punch her, but one day, she will be violent towards you. You know women now, non-verbal insults. She will look at you from up to down. She will say, is this all? Do you call yourself a man? And the man's
and it's more hurtful.
Yes, it's more hurtful.
That's when the man will like say, he's going to go crazy.
Yes, and he punches.
He punches. Now, I want us to watch these stories about a man who had to batter the wife. He had to even use a machete on her. Let's watch. We'll be right back.
November 19, 2018, Felicitas wails on her hospital bed as her pain becomes unbearable. Part of her arm is almost cut off, leaving a deep wound. This pain was inflicted on her after a fight with her husband at a neighborhood known as Mbange in the Douala 5 area. This is my letter. I'm only trying to recover, get better. Her case at this hospital is preoccupying, and doctors have demanded for her to be transferred to the Lankantini General Hospital. It got harder. My emotions took me over, no longer in pain, no more stronger. 1 week later, Felicitas leaves the hospital, but not without scars. "20 stitches on her hand, an eye clotted with blood, and a broken arm."
Puis la pelle bêche, tous les gens qui étaient là, les enfants du quartier avec les papas, ont fui. Il m'a suivi avec la pelle bêche.
Before I knew it, he used the edge of a spade and hit me on the back of my head.
Je vois comment quelqu'un me tape au pied avec la pelle bêche.
I can hardly raise my right hand up because of the pain resulting from the beatings he gave me. As he was beating me, my last child was watching, and she wept profusely. Nadine Patricia is a good Samaritan. She's the one who came to Felicita's aid when she was being beaten by her husband in a neighborhood where people chose not to intervene, calling it a couple's affair.
Donc quand j'arrive là, je la vois couchée avec beaucoup de sang sur elle. Je dis mais tiens, ça c'est quoi?
When I arrived and saw her, I had goose pimples all over my body. I asked, but how is this possible? Someone is dying and there is no one to save her. Reason why I decided to help, I called a motorbike and took her to the hospital.
Ça, je me mets à fouiller un peu qui peut avoir une moto pour nous transporter du quartier jusqu'à l'hôpital.
We made a tour at the Mbange neighborhood and stopped at the family residence of the couple, who all hail from the Menwa division in the West region. Bloodstains on the spade are still very visible. According to sources, this is not the first time Felicita's husband is beating her. He is being described as a jealous and violent husband.
Je dis que où il y a le droit de tuer au Cameroun, même si quelqu'un fait n'importe quoi, on a le droit de tuer au Cameroun.
He accused me of a message in my phone that dates more than 1 month, a simple message I did not even take note of. Someone said he loves me. So was that enough for him to want to kill me? It almost cost my life. He said he would take off one of my eyes and see how men will love me again. There is the husband in question, accused of domestic violence, age 43. We met him in the streets of Makepe, Douala. He chose to be anonymous, but regrets his violence towards his wife.
I'm only trying to recover, get better.
This happened on a Sunday. Usually every Sunday after our meeting, we spend time in a beer parlor to drink. That day, she had already taken 7 bottles of beer and I had taken 8. Something happened which made me feel jealous. We fought hard, but I regret my actions.
Of you and I.
Felicitas has been beaten once too many times, and she is now asking for help to live apart from this man, as she says her life is also important.
Aujourd'hui, je prie, je dis Seigneur, pardon, que les choses comme ça, que ça ne se passe plus sur les femmes. On pouvait seulement prendre mon cadavre. Même si une femme a fait quoi, est-ce qu'on a le droit de tuer une femme? Est-ce qu'on a le droit, est-ce qu'il y a le droit de tuer au Cameroun? Je dis que dans ma famille, il n'y a personne qui peut parler, qui peut me faire n'importe quoi, et que s'il y a un refaire, il va le refaire. Cette fois-ci, et cette fois même, il y a un enregistrement qu'en pleine réunion, il a dit qu'il va verser le sang. Qu'il va verser le sang.
Of you and I.
Welcome back. Now, after watching the story of a young woman beaten by her husband with a spade, Dr. Fon, Jessica, Futso, can we have your immediate reaction? Now,
Maureen, it's really...
the reasons advanced by the woman, is it enough for the man to take a spade, hit her on the back, leave her wounds on the body? He almost killed her.
Yes, as you could see, such deep, serrated wounds like that for the girl, the woman. I don't know what could have come over the man like that.
No,
to have
the man is
reacted
sick.
in that way.
He is a mental patient, Maureen, and this is the platform to talk about things like that.
Okay.
There are many mental illnesses in Cameroon where people don't undress and move naked. We think that mental illness is only when you undress and you move naked on the street. But there are many forms of mental illness that are not accepted as mental illnesses in Cameroon. The husband is suffering from what is called pathological, morbid jealousy, meaning that he suspects her when a man greets her and smiles with her. He suspects her when she dresses and goes out and a man says, "You're beautiful." He can look at her telephone, a simple message of "I love you" would set him off. It's an illness, a mental illness that causes chemical imbalance in the brain, and the person will act like a madman for a few minutes, and he will regret. I'm not surprised that the man says, "I regret it, I'm sorry." In many cases, he'll go back to the woman, kneel and beg her to forgive him.
And the woman goes back.
The woman goes back because she thinks he's sincere. The next time when he has the crisis of morbid jealousy, pathological jealousy, he'll go through the same cycle. People have to understand that that is a mental illness and that they need treatment.
Okay.
They need to see a psychiatrist and that they need to follow up the treatment. The woman and the children need to be removed from there for their safety.
All right.
Doc,
Now, Jesse, you want to add something?
Yes, I think many Cameroonian men are having that type of illness. It is not just...
Yeah, there are many.
There are
we have
many,
not done
yes,
a study
because
on those who have pathological jealousy. Now with the Android phone and things like that, it's so much. So we need to do a study. Have you ever slapped your wife until she's black and blue because of a simple message, because someone told her, "Good morning, I love you"?
Definitely.
Then you are a mental patient. You need to go for help.
That is it.
All right, Jesse.
Yes. What doctor is saying, I'm saying that out there are so many walking with coats on their body,
Riding big cars.
riding big cars, but mentally ill.
Yes.
Yes. And because it's really absurd to see such young couples, one taking
A handsome guy
guy like that, taking a spade or a machete and macheting somebody you call your wife, the same person you love, and you go back and stay with her.
All right.
No.
Now, in that case, what the woman would have done was denounce the man, go to where?
Yes, that is what you're saying.
What was she
Is
supposed to do?
Maureen.
She's a wife.
she's now where?
It's not the first time. When you
She-
listen to the report, it's not
Yes,
the
first time.
And what we are saying is that when you have a husband like that, is the man who needs to accept, and that's why I'm always talking to men. This problem of violence against women is for men. It's not really a woman's problem. He needs to accept that he is mentally ill. It's like epilepsy, Maureen. When you have a crisis, you fall down, you have convulsions, that's epilepsy. When you are suffering from morbid jealousy, you catch your wife, you beat her, you wound her, it's the same thing like an epileptic fit. So he needs to accept it and go to the hospital for treatment.
Okay, wait, how many men will accept that?
That
Jesse?
is the problem.
Yes,
How many men will accept that?
you know,
they are the problem here.
Yes, they never knew they had a problem. They have never known it. And thank God for this program. They are coming to know about it now. This is a diffusion program that is going
Because
out.
most men will tell you that, no, it's a woman, she's nagging, she provoked me, or
I'm
whatsoever.
telling you that most men don't know what is wrong with them. They are just doing and going and getting away with it. But thank God for this program. Thank God for the sensitization of women on violence, awareness. It is very, very important because I don't think the men themselves are happy about it.
No, they can't be.
They can't be. because it's really degrading.
In
for
this,
them.
what you showed, Maureen, the last child was crying. You know, when the child saw the mother being battered. And that picture will never leave that child's mind.
Okay.
And that child will never forgive the father.
All right.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So, can you have your child who will never forgive you? The men suffer too. And that is why I say, and I continue
But
to
you
say.
suffer from it, and then you come back again, you hit the woman.
Because
throw
he's
her
ill.
insults.
It's an illness. It's
It's an
epilepsy.
illness.
It's like
And now,
epilepsy.
the question I want to ask is that how do you handle such a case? You are the wife, right? How do you talk to your husband?
There's nothing
he's
like
hurting
talking
you.
to the husband because
How do you sit him down and try to talk to him? Is it possible, Doc?
they can sit and talk. They can the wife can actually sit down.
Is it
and
possible?
talk. Yes, it's possible.
No, it's difficult.
I
For
can.
the
I've seen
African
That's what
woman.
I'm asking.
I've
Is
seen
it possible?
cases
for the
that the
African
woman will
woman.
say, "This is what you did to me. I'm not happy because after some time in the household, you start finding yourself that you, the man, there's no communication. What do you make this woman to start talking to you? You want to pretend to give a listening ear. She now outpours all what she's going through, and then you will see that she's communicating to you and talking about what you've done to her. But then, the real issue about this matter of the violence is who recognizes the act? Who is violent? Is it the violence by a stimulus from the woman, or is it the act of you, the man, beating up the woman because she said something? Because now the man himself has to put himself in a position to know what is right and what is wrong and how to manage his own emotions. Because I don't think any man in any home will say he hasn't had a rough feedback from the wife one day because us women, we know ourselves. You come in, I have my issues worrying me. You ask for something, I give you a throwback.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the way you take it, you become violent.
Okay.
Men should learn how to contain because us women will contain a lot. They should also learn how to contain, suppress things. They should look for mechanisms to suppress those things. Yes.
By the time you cannot suppress them, you just like it's a blow.
It is
right?
that's not the solution.
It's
That's
not
not the solution. Mechanisms, because there are ways of suppressing those things. I went to one of our church seminars in Bafusam, and a reverend priest, while talking to us, said, women who are who manifest anger, or you talk a lot. When you want to talk, when you have really hurt, start counting back.
From
10,
100.
From
From
the
100.
doctor yours is 100.
199, 98, 97.
By the time you get to even 95, you have really piped down and you're able to, say things correctly.
Maybe at that time when the anger is there, she will not even think about that.
You must think about it. You are a human being, you're alert. The anger came because you were alert.
Now, I want to ask Doc, now, who is more violent here? We're looking at the couple.
Maureen,
Because
there was a question that you asked.
Okay.
Can the African woman really take the husband, put him down and
Sis.
say, you are a mental patient, you need to go to the hospital?
Is it possible?
Is it possible?
Because I know their men will just
she
say
will
the
receive
man,
more beatings.
Beatings.
She will not even dare to say it. She will need the help of family members.
All right.
She will need the
Doc,
help of us
I don't want to
community
add to
leaders.
that. Don't
Yeah.
you think that in those there are nice moments between couples, right? Is it possible during those nice moments?
The nice moment will
When
come
you're
when
worried.
after violence like that.
No,
It
after
takes
the
a
violence
long
now.
nice
time.
moments
No,
come
the
on.
They will
nice-
come, but after
Oh,
a long
the nice-
time.
They have
I'm
children.
asking.
Yes.
They have children.
After
So they
the
go to
violence,
bed.
the man will beg, he
Yes.
comes back.
Yes.
Those nice, wonderful moments coming. During that moment, is it possible for the woman to like?
No, you don't tell him
I
you are a
mean-
madman. No, because you become angry. But you tell him you have a problem. I think the problem too comes from me. Can we go together to see a family counselor? It is when they come to the Tesho Family Center. When I listen to them, then I realize that this
Okay,
man
the woman
has-
accepts the blame.
Yeah,
and
of
says
course, it's their problem.
It's
It's
our
our
problem.
problem,
Let's
yes.
try to solve the problem
Yes, let's
together.
try to solve
But
the
if you
problem
pushes it
together.
on the man,
Oh, no.
that's when it becomes a problem.
Wait, that's when it becomes a problem. So when they come together now, I'm a professional family counselor, and I listen to them and I say, when I'm talking to the man alone, I say, have you ever heard of something called morbid jealousy, pathological jealousy? he will say no. Said, I think that's what you're suffering from, but it's not your fault. It's like epilepsy. It's a hereditary kind of thing. And many times they will say, that is so true. My father removed my mother's eye. When she talked back to him, he threw something at her and removed her eye. And even my son too, when he's angry, he hits his head on the floor, bam, 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 in anger. Or he throws things at the wall. I said, that is pathological jealousy, and it is genetic. So it's not your fault. We can work on that. So if there are women and men listening to this program today, and you know that you are living in a violent relationship, it could be morbid jealousy, it could be bipolar mental illness, it's a chemical imbalance, you need help, you can go to see your pastor, go to see your family members, and take it as your problem. Because even at the time they'll solve the problem, Maureen, he will need her help. There are women too who are mentally ill too with the same illness, you know. Their husbands cannot take good money to another woman. They will button him, scratch his face. Oh yes. So, you know, it's a mental illness. It can attack the men and the women. So we need to understand that some of this violence is due to mental illness.
All right. Now, in society today means that the men should try to
It's all about
solve
the
the
men.
problem. It's about the men today.
It's
We're not
about
talking
the
about
men.
women, because violence against women, the men too should come in and try to see how they can solve the problem.
Yes.
I want us to watch these other stories about a woman in the northern part of Cameroon. She has been going through a lot when it comes to violence. We'll be right back.
Raped in her village in Central Africa, this lady, 25 years old, is trying to forget the shame and overcome the trauma of her stolen intimacy. She recounts her rapist attacked her at night when he first opened the door and sealed her mouth. Her supplications were in vain. This other lady suffers from poverty, domestic violence, and psychological trauma. I can be beaten because I ask for food money. We quarrel when I talk of starting a business. Like these two, many who have suffered different forms of violence are starting life all over at the camp of Central African refugees in Joham. It's a matter of culture. Most often, women don't denounce this. The situation is changing. At first, they did not want to talk, but now they are coming with the system put in place. A Spanish NGO is on the field to get first-hand knowledge as Cameroon observes 16 days of advocacy on violence against women and girls. The victim is followed up if it were a physical violence, and medical assistance offered for cases of sexual violence. Some girls still suffer gender violence despite sensitization campaigns. Parents send their boys to school and girls into early marriages. For the school year 2017-2018, at secondary level, out of 8,849 registered cases in Bere, only 2,915 girls. That is 32.94%. The focus this 2018 is for all to give an ear to the suffering of survivors of violence for hope in future generations.
Now we're talking about ending violence against women. Right here in the studio we have Dr. Fon Elizabeth and Mrs. Jessica Afot. So they have been giving the experiences and throwing more light on violence against women and what you need to know about violence against women. Now, how do we help the men?
Maureen,
Because the woman has a role to play in the house.
yes,
The parents have a role to play. Society has a role to play.
yeah.
Now, how do you help the men?
You know, it's difficult to get the men to come and sit down and listen to any lecture on gender equality, ending violence against women.
And that's what was supposed to be.
That's what we're supposed
that was
to
supposed
be.
to be the focus.
That's it.
getting men
Yes.
in programs for women. That
In the
men
school,
understand
Yes.
what is really wrong, what is
Yes.
going wrong in their homes.
In their homes. It should go into the school curriculum, ending violence against men. Men should understand their women, their emotional makeup and their emotional needs. They should learn to satisfy those emotional needs. Because if they don't satisfy the emotional needs, the women become desperate, they become nagging, they become verbally hostile, and the men will react with violence.
Now, Jessica, you're an educationist. Is it possible to have it in our school programs?
Yes, in the curricula, you'll find under morals and citizenship values. And you have family life that is inside that program. And you know, from the United Nations data of the girl child, the gender issue, especially in the northern part of Cameroon, at one time it was 2009, we're like trying to focus rules, like rules from the basic age. That is the boy child, the girl child going to school. Not attributing the household chores only to girls, and allowing the boys to have other chores that have boys. You can now allocate that the boy is doing washing plates, or doing the dishes, or cooking. You understand? Those are like getting a balance between the gender issue now, that no chore is for a girl or for a boy. All of you can do those things. Now, you will find out that even the names in the books, in the textbooks, they have started using the names of our own locality, such that you identify yourself, the child reading that with the personality of that person carrying the act, you can find yourself in that personality. Then come now to family life. From the nursery school to class 6 program, it's in the primary school curricula. You have family life implanted as a well-structured objectives with content. So children learn in school how to run homes, how to respect father and mother, how father and mother should respect each other. Those cultural values, those really intrinsic values that we need as human beings. They learn it.
And when they grow up, do you?
No.
They
end in primary
Let me
school.
tell you, Maureen.
I have that.
I want to tell you something. I will take an example with our kids that we send to boarding schools. When they go to school, they're like going to church every day. The boys, let me say it, they go to church every day. Because it's a rule, if you're not there, you'll be punished, right? When they come home, do they still go to church? They need sticks for you to follow them out from their rooms that go to church. Come, let's go to church. I thought I was the only parent having that issue. But when we sat in the conference and I had other mothers saying the same thing, I said, oh, so these things, they learn it because they want to learn and pass exams, not a skill that they want to acquire into them. They don't. So what I am thinking is, what should we be saying for this issue of violence to end? It is not just, we should put it in a way that it becomes part of our system. You see, our culture, it should become our culture itself. Because culture can be overturned. You understand? Culture can be overturned. You start seeing village chiefs being women tomorrow because they see a value of that person who can lead. You understand? So we just start seeing the right aspects of the culture and embracing them, and then keying out those wrong aspects of the culture. And I think that when we start doing so, people in the village, they don't need to go to school to know how to behave towards a woman or towards a man. You need to just have the rightful cultural values and move in that society.
All right, now let's look at the different forms of violence. Now, which of them is more visible?
All of them have an impact, Maureen. And that is what we should be teaching our children in school. Because in primary school, we give those basic skills of respect, like thank you, please, I beg your pardon.
But when they grow up, do they
But when they grow up to university, we should have more complex skills like how to build a relationship,
Yes.
how to build
But do we
team
have that in
spirit,
universities?
emotional
level of
needs.
high
We don't
school?
have that.
We don't have that.
Which is so sad.
Yes.
There should be more complex skills, relationship building skills. Like what we are doing at the Tesho Family Center. How do you build team spirit in the family? Papa is the team captain of the family. Mama is the coach. The children are the star players. How do you build that relationship? How do you talk to each other? Communication. How do you manage money as a team? How do you manage in-laws, stepchildren? You know, those are more complex skills, you understand? Budgeting is not something that primary school children can know. But in the university, they should learn to budget as a family.
Yes.
They don't teach that.
But it's absent.
It's absent.
And those are
money wars
the target population that are going out
to get married.
to get married, and then tomorrow you start getting the issue of violence
That's why we
again.
have more marriages crumbling today.
Yes.
Because they lack those basics.
Yes.
Skills.
Yes.
Now, Doc, at your center, which of the forms of violence?
Mental violence. Mental violence. The men complain of mental violence from the wives complain of mental violence from the husband. Something that is so simple, Maureen, lack of appreciation.
Yes.
Do you know that because a man does not appreciate the wife and the wife does not appreciate the husband, their relationship breaks down? That is why at the center we teach expressions of praise and gratitude. You understand? Take your time to notice when the other person has done something good for the family. Notice it, praise it, give praise. It's not just your normal thank you, you know. Like Maureen.
Now, how do you do it?
You need to learn now. You need to learn because you need to, like Maureen, you're a wonderful mother to our kids. I appreciate the fact that I'm married to a woman like you. You're my ideal woman. I want to thank you. You know those words to
Very
a woman.
I mean, the words,
very
the words,
They
motivating.
mean
they make
a
you
lot.
happy.
She will go on doing those things
things.
that she needs to do as a woman.
Very few men do that. Even we
They
have women
don't know,
who don't know to
Maureen.
appreciate their men.
Yes, they don't. They've never learned. Many of them are so macho. You know, they
Is that all you
provide the
can
money, they provide the house, they provide the car. Emotional needs of a woman doctor have never known about it, so they need to learn. Maureen, it either goes into the school curriculum, or they come to the family center and we teach them those basic skills that they need to build healthy relationships, where a woman feels like a woman because her husband has uplifted her to heights of joy. Where a man goes out every day like, you know,
The friend,
riding
maybe the friend
on
herself
the
will
air.
say, you're a lucky woman. You're lucky.
Of course not.
And the
Yes.
husband is just like,
They call their husband le feignant, that idiot, and so on.
The issue,
But that's the idiot you married.
Yes.
You have every reason to build up each
is
other.
it possible
be
for a woman
happy.
to change a husband who batters her
Yes.
daily?
yes.
Maureen,
Is it
it's the two
possible?
of them all.
The two of them.
I don't think the woman
one person
alone-
cannot do
Which
it.
means that the woman cannot do it on her own.
I don't think she can do it on her own. It
But
will be
Doc,
difficult.
She can manage to start and initiating a certain type of
Dialogue.
yes, certain type of ways.
If he listens to you,
yes,
it's important for him to
is
sit
a man
down.
because
If he
because
listens
you
to
know in a relationship you know the man's good time his good times, you know, his quiet time when he listens to you. So profit from those type of things and
Yeah.
pass a message.
Well,
And
actually, Maureen,
yes.
at the center, we teach women the 3 C's. Comprehension, like you say, understanding him,
Yes.
understanding how he grew up, his background, what pleases him, his vision. If he
Yes.
starts working on his vision, he'll be less violent.
Yes. Alright.
And then the second C is communication. How do you communicate with him? At what time? How? Because he's a man picking. How do you touch him?
Now, how do you communicate? At what time? How do you do it? Talk. Let's just let's just do it here. How do you do it?
Maureen, the truth is that there are words that kill and destroy. The Bible
Yes.
says there is power of life and death on the
Tongue.
Okay.
A man who finds a wife finds a good thing
thing.
and obtaineth favor from God.
Okay.
How
Definitely.
is a woman a good thing? Because she can be able to speak life into the man. You know,
Yes.
there's Tyler Perry who said, if you believe in your man, speak life into him. Believe in him. You understand? So the woman will buy a new dictionary of words that uplift. And I say it's reciprocal. That is why I say the man too needs to do something, you understand? It's not about the woman alone. Because if she starts using those words that uplift the husband, appreciate him, admire him.
The husband
and
starts
he
learning to
doesn't-
by induction.
Good. Okay. Oh, he too needs to give the woman her emotional needs.
Okay.
You understand? Talk to her in a way that will uplift her. Many women are in churches today because the pastors talk well to them.
Yes.
Daughter of Zion. Beautifully and wonderfully created in the image of God. Wow.
And you start seeing yourself as such. Yes. Because what you are saying is very, very important. The communication aspect in a marriage.
Yes.
Because all of us lack it.
Take for example, your husband is back from work. When you look at the face, he's not happy. But you start telling him that the gas is finished, there's no food in the kitchen.
Then you're a nagging wife.
I mean, how should a woman behave?
Then you're just a
in
nagging
the
wife.
face of that? Because there are women who don't even know their husbands.
They don't comprehend their
They
husband.
Yes, they don't understand.
even
Yes,
know.
yes.
You're with a man, you live in the same house with him, but you don't really know him.
Yes.
Now, how do you handle that? How should women act?
The truth
The
is
face
that,
of that.
Maureen, when I ask many women, what is your husband's vision? She'll be like, doctor, that idiot, even get vision.
You call your husband an
Meaning
idiot.
that she does not even comprehend her husband at all. Because if you don't know that man, you're going to provoke the anger. And that's what is happening in many relationships.
So what should a woman do?
The woman should take time to study her husband like she's studying for a PhD test.
By doing what?
Where did he grow up? What are his likes? How does he want him to communicate with you? I mean, I'm not talking about mental patients because there are some men, whether you communicate anyhow, they'll still be violent towards you.
Of course.
Those are mental patients. But I'm talking about the normal man, you know, the one who will insult you, who will maybe push you, shove you around. Those are the people who are frustrated. They are frustrated men because their wives don't comprehend them. So I'm talking to such women. Learn to comprehend your husband.
Okay.
Where did he grow up? For example, my mother-in-law, they grew up very poor. She had 2 rappers. Now the son is a petroleum engineer. The mother cannot come to the house. I talk to the mother anyhow. You understand?
Okay.
That husband is going to be violent towards you.
Okay.
Because the mother is the angel in his life who brought him
He
up.
saw the mother
who
suffering
Yes.
to make him what he is.
He saw everything. He was there every minute. He suffered with his mother. If you don't understand that, you don't comprehend that, you're going to talk to that woman who comes to your house and wants to be bossy because that's the son's house. I suffered. Now I am going to enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I want us to have reactions from some Cameroonians in the northwest region of Cameroon. They talked on violence against women. We'll be right back.
He discovered I was still talking with my ex. Meanwhile, he never wanted it. So when he discovered that, he got angry and he decided to beat me up. So when he beat me up, I did not react towards what he did to me because I know it was all my fault. So I decided to plead with him and made him to understand that I'm very sorry and it won't happen again, and he took me back, and that was all.
The situation is that I didn't do anything wrong. He was the one that did. He was the one that committed a crime. So when I realized it, he came back to me. He came begging, but at first, the of us snubbed me. But when I left at the moment I left the area, he came back. He came begging. Then we tried to resolve the matter.
I had one of my girlfriend that I was going out with her. So one day she saw me with another girl, and that girl was not my girlfriend. So she started to insult me. So I just decided I was feeling bad in my I would feel very, very bad in my heart. So I decided and gave her one slap.
Only one?
Yes, one that caused her to collapse.
You know, these women, what can make someone to become annoyed and practice violence on a woman is that these women, they talk a lot. They are very mouthy in a way that they can see something and they don't even think twice. They start to aim slangs or abuse you on something that you might have not done. And when you want to say that this thing that you are talking like this, it is what I've not done it, or it is not like this, she start to vibrate and talk so many things that maybe she even leaves the thing that she's complaining and start talking something else. And at times they abuse you. They abuse you on what you don't even know. That is when maybe you can get annoyed, and if you are not too careful, you can give a woman a slap without even knowing, because they are the ones that have provoked you, maybe to give her a slap.
Welcome back. We're getting to the end of the program. Now, I want us to talk about the take-home message to women.
Take-home
They
message.
don't speak out. That is a problem.
Yes, take-home
And this
message.
year, they are trying to encourage women to speak out.
My take-home message is to those people who decide, the opinion leaders. Please get the men on board. Men, it is so important for you to make the woman that you married very happy every day. Learn to know her. Do not batter her. Make her into the kind of woman you want to have. And so, those opinion leaders need to get the men on board. We need to work together so that we can make the women happy and not be violent.
Okay.
It's teamwork,
Okay.
Maureen.
All right. And to the women, just in a few words.
To the women, don't give up. Continue to understand your husband. He's a man picking. He's frustrated. He's stressed up. Go for help. Help him so that he can be the person that you dream of having as a husband.
All right, JC.
I'll take up for today. I will talk about the male psychology.
Okay.
That we should try to understand the male psychology too, because that's how we are women. We understand our own psychology, but we have not tried to understand the male psychology. And society now should be focusing on the male psychology such that this violence can end, because everybody wants happiness. If they are trying to get married or they want to stay as a couple, it's because their goal is towards happiness. I don't think that if they are going to be violent on each other, happiness is going to reign in that home. It will never. So we want a happy society. So the men should understand the female psychology, likewise the female should understand the male psychology, and help to build up each person's temperament. Accept the temperament and work on it such that they will have that happiness they are looking for.
And to you out there, to all the women, we're telling you that we can only find this if you start speaking out. And you must know your husband. Two men are not the same. Try to love your husband, know who he is, understand yourself, understand your marriage, try to know more about your relationship, and it's going to work out. The program was turned up, still does.
Now we've looked at